Alright, let's get it going. Let's get it going. Alright, well, hello everyone. Sorry about my sister yelling as loud as she can in the background for some reason. But we're gonna be tracking these storms. We did get convection to actually fire along the dry line, which is interesting. However, storms are having a hard time rotating, which is an odd little thing that we will have to watch. But we can also check models real quick. I kind of want to check models just for a second. Yeah, so our low level jet is expected to increase later on, so we definitely have a couple of hours ahead of us. Let's look at our storm relative felicity, see how that checks out. Yeah, the majority of our risk is still to come. I'm gonna look at the 18Z models, which is what I used for my forecast today, to see how they compare really quickly to what our 23Z looks like on each triple R. Yeah, it's as expected. So yeah, our main risk is going to be later on tonight with low level jet increase here soon. But because that low level jet is a little bit weaker, the storms are having a hard time organizing. But by the time it does increase, they should organize rapidly, and we should definitely see it happen live. So we're just gonna be waiting on the low level jet here. Probably not much is gonna happen until the low level jet actually does strengthen. We just have a couple tornado warnings. I think 2 or 3. Feel like today's gonna be a slower night, but it could definitely go absolutely crazy when the low level jet increases. But it's definitely slower as far as live stream goes, because I honestly don't really know what to talk about just yet. I mean, there's stuff we can talk about, like there's storms ongoing, like this special weather statement for Springfield, Missouri. And then we also have like a cluster of not necessarily supercells just yet. I mean, they do have rotating updrafts, but they're kind of ew. They're kind of icky. Like, this is not good rotation. I thought this is storm relative felicity. I was about like freak. I didn't realize that mesoanalysis was added to radar omega, which I hope they do. They really need mesoanalysis on here. I really want them to add mesoanalysis overlays. That'd be so cool. I've been begging and begging and begging them for mesoanalysis overlays, and they just won't add them. They're like one of that would probably be one of the best features that they could have is, well, not overlays, but underlays between our map and our storms. Honestly surprised they don't have them already. They have so many other features like frontal stuff and whatnot, but no mesoanalysis. And I wish they had shapefiles, because then I could add mesoanalysis onto here, but because they don't, it's not doing so good. Okay. Now that I have a new backdrop and I switched to satellite, I kind of want to test these color tables. See how they compare to each other. So here's our default color table from Radar Omega. I mean, it's decent. I don't know how much I like it. Also, can't figure out if I really want smoothing on or not. I feel like smoothing is definitely a really good feature that I should have on, but I don't know. I'll leave it on for now, see how it feels over the next couple of hours. But a lot of these storms definitely have some really strong updrafts. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this one can begin rotating, because this one has the highest updraft out of any of them, up to I think 51,000 feet in the atmosphere. But let's look at these other color tables. Okay, well, we have the default 2 or reflectivity 1 default, second default color table that they have. It's kind of meh. I don't like the dark outlines. I like the fact that transparency kind of like fades. These, or at least it kind of tries to at least. Then reflectivity 2 is like, it's more tropical. This is the one that I was talking about where I would like to make it my primary if it was overall brighter and our hail thing didn't begin to get pink at 65 dBz. We'll look at velocity later. Here's the reflectivity 3 color table. I feel like this is kind of like right up in your face, kind of bright. I don't really like it that much. Then here's the reflectivity 4. This is definitely a little bit more older. This feels much more like older. It's decent though, I would say. I like the fact that it kind of goes in intervals here, depending on its 10 by 10 dBz, and it's lagging now. Oh gosh. Yeah, Radar Omega definitely needs some user compatibility updates. Sometimes you get these crazy like glitches that just happen, or sometimes it's extremely slow. You have reflectivity 5. This is kind of icky in my opinion. This is like, it's an acquired taste. It would definitely have to fit a certain aesthetic or something like that. I definitely don't like it. Here's wildfire. I don't even know what this is for, to be honest. This is just weird. And then here's the GR level, or the GR whatever. That is really expensive. That program is really expensive, and I just ripped this color table from its free trial application and to put it on Radar Omega. I'd say this one is pretty decent, honestly. I've thought about using this as my primary, and I did in one of my live streams. Here's Viper HD, the one that I currently use. This one is honestly the best in my opinion. This one's honestly the best in my opinion. It gets the job done, and it starts indicating hail at 55 dBz. Which is honestly more accurate in my opinion. And then when you get into the deep 60s, like 65 into 70, it indicates some like massive hailstones, which is really good. That's really like honestly the best in my opinion. That's really honestly the like best color table you could think of. Because it really explains everything well. Here's a lacrosse 2004 lacrosse. Um, yeah, this one is I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. It feels like Viper HD and the GR this one, the GR2 full BR and the Viper HD combined. Here's the AWIPS 2 official mod or whatever. Um I think it's decent. It's definitely more of an acquired taste. I'm also watching that Supercell to the south while we do this. Because that Supercell to the south definitely looks like it may have some potential. It looks like it is beginning to hook a little bit more here. Here's AWIPS Neon 2015. It feels less modern, but it's an acquired taste. If you're looking for that older feel, I suggest going with that. Here's Max Storm. This feels like the classic like Weather Underground, Weather Channel, like what they would use for their public radars that are easy, quote unquote, easy to understand for like the average person. But I definitely wouldn't use it. I don't even know why I have it on here. I think it's because I was going through color tables. Here's this. I don't even know what this is. I don't know if this was supposed to be a joke color table, if this is even like supposed to be usable, but this is honestly disgusting, but I kind of like it for some reason. For some reason, it has grown on me a little bit, even if it is extremely disgusting. And it kind of follows the same principle as the Viper HD. Here's gradient only. I definitely did think about using this for some time. I definitely like this. This is more of a combination of Viper HD and the Reflectivity 2, the other one that I kind of wanted to use. And then here's Cake. Cake 10 is kind of just a brighter version of gradient only, or at least it includes the lower half in blue. Or not the lower half, but the lower like 10th of the gradient. So I'll switch back to Viper HD for the time being. Ew, now it looks so much more worse now that I've switched back to it for some reason. I'm definitely watching this Supercell. We definitely have a really nice updraft going here. If this can hook around a little bit more, then it may be able to get a tornado warning going. It definitely needs to hook a little bit more. It definitely needs some work going. It definitely needs some work if it wants to go tornado warned. Other than that, there's not a whole lot. Yeah, there is definitely some decent flow there, but it's not rotating per se. All right, well, I have dinner ready, so what I'll do is I will just mute myself. I won't take away the radar so you guys can continue to watch the Supercell, see how it evolves. Gove City, definitely make sure you're paying attention, because even if this doesn't produce a tornado, still massive hail is coming your way. So I'll just let you guys watch this Supercell. Okay, so instead of hardware muting myself, I am going to eat. I will turn on the stay tuned screen for at least a little while, at least until I'm finished eating. So it's not really like what many people are watching my live stream to really care. So, anyways, I'm just gonna put it on. Alright, we're back at it. Alright. We're back at it. What I want to do is I kind of want to continue to look at color tables. Honestly, there's not much going on. This look right here is not good at all for the risk for severe thunderstorms for tonight at all. It's a detrimental look. I'll be honest. Yeah, models, actually, there was a little bit of forecast. In a little bit of an MCV like that, or MCS developing. And we may see additional development behind that. That is probably going to be the main thing. So what we'll probably see is we'll probably see a bunch of updrafts at the base of all these storms that are just going to vent precipitation off to the north and northeast here. And all these little updrafts here can probably produce the potential of tornadoes. We'll have to watch though, but because that mode is honestly not really the best for tornadic development, and this MCV feature is kind of pushing out a lot of instability. Sorry about that. Okay, what I should do is I probably should make it so you guys can probably so you guys can hear the radar omega thing. So until we can actually get more development, which is trying, it's definitely trying. I'm actually kind of curious because I wasn't paying attention to radar, to be honest, while I was eating. I was mainly watching videos. Yeah, we just had a lot of what was ongoing just kind of fizzle away. But up here will definitely be interesting to watch. What radar site are we on? We're on this one. Okay, that's the best radar site. So we're watching this thing mainly. Because this is probably going to be the thing that's going to do it, potentially. Depending on what our upscale growth was. Oh, our 00Z just came out, or it's working its way out. Our 00Z HRRR will definitely tie some things together as far as the risk for Saturday. So it does look like, honestly, the best risk for tornadoes maybe around midnight. We can also look at some of the other models, see how that suggests. Our low-level jet may be further down to the south. As I was mentioning in my forecast, our main low-level jet may be further down to the south, and it may have a little bit of an outflow boundary that may prevent our storms from really reaching our juicy atmosphere further down to the south. The majority of our storms may be further up to the north and may not be able to tap into what's further down to the south. But that low-level jet will definitely be very strong and definitely very supportive of tornadoes. It's just a matter of if our low-level jet can tap into that or not. Or not our low-level jet, if our storms can actually tap into that or not. Because they may fire off too far to the north and they may be out of... I did not want to look at supercell composite, but holy cow, these are some of the highest supercell composite values I've ever seen. Not even in 2024 did I see supercell, or 2023 did I see supercell composites that were this high. I don't want to screenshot. How high do they get? I want to unsmooth this. I want to unsmooth this to see how high they get. Just on our pure data, or raw data. Wow, 40, upwards of 40, 45. That is some insanely high supercell composite parameters. But just as I was kind of expecting, there may be a little bit of a convective inhibition in place. Especially where our storms are going to be. They're going to be a little bit to the north of that boundary here. This boundary that you see that extends, it's kind of hard to tell because I'm drawing in a color that kind of just blends in here. But this boundary you see is the warm front. And our storms may fire off to the north of it, and they may be more elevated as a result. may not be able to really produce a tornado risk. And that's why there's that conditionality. It all depends on if our storms can tap into the environment and if they'll be elevated or not, because there is a very small window that they can be surface-based and produce tornadoes. And if they can definitely use that very, very conducive environment that is already set in place. So yeah, that's what we're watching. That's what we'll watch. We'll watch this, see how this convection over here really gets going. I really like the look of the MCV though, even if it is going to be more detrimental to our tornado risk, because it pushes out a lot of instability out of the region, makes the surface instability a little bit more on the lower side of things. And we should also get our zero, not our 0Z, yeah, our 0Z SPC outlook here soon. So what I'll do is I'll go and install some more color tables, because I'm honestly kind of curious on how they are. I may rank them actually while we're just waiting for our storms to really get going. May create a ranking for them. Honestly, there's I'm kind of fighting to just to not be bored out of my mind, because that's kind of how the live streams usually go. Usually no one says anything and I'm just here basically talking to myself. But I'll create a ranking system, or not a ranking system, I'll create like a I guess rank, like a SA whatever rank. But thank you guys for joining. Just had a massive spike in viewership. Thank you guys for joining. If you guys have any questions, please ask. It's honestly what keeps me from going absolutely insane when doing these. 'Cause I feel like I'm a schizo patient whenever I'm just talking to myself constantly when doing this. So if you guys have any questions, please ask them. I highly encourage them, and no question is considered dumb, I promise. How do I make a rank? I found it. Found where I do it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I want to make my own template. Whatever. Create public template. I want a single use template. S, A, B, C, D, F. I want to add an F tier, please. How do I add an F? There we go. Okay. I'll reveal to you guys my color table tier chart after I make it. So obviously Viper HD is going to go on S tier. Okay, so we did just get another severe thunderstorm warning. I'm surprised I didn't get the audio sound for it, but we do have another severe thunderstorm warning. Makes our count 1. So let me update that. Oh, I also need to update the scrolling text. I forgot to do that. Okay. Here, let me just fix this for you guys. There, we get live patch updates for our element. But it does have a tornado possible signature on it, which is interesting. I'm guessing they're thinking about the MCV feature on the northern end of that Boeing Echo here, because that Boeing Echo will definitely act as a RFD kind of. This Boeing segment here that you see, it will push out kind of like the RFD, especially in close range to where it will circle back around. Our inflow will mainly be on the backside, kind of, and feed in on the western side while our RFD pushes in. But we could see rotation developing here, and that's why they have the tornado possible signature. Definitely see potentially tornado come out of that. Definitely not out of the question. Does have the tornado possible signature. Then further down to the south, we have another severe thunderstorm warning for hail upwards of 1.75 inches and wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. We definitely see some pretty crazy wind gusts, especially along this Boeing segment. If we get another protruding segment, that will definitely be pretty supportive of some strong damaging wind gusts. But I will be right back. Okay, while I was gone, something kind of unexpected happened. We did get a tornado warning on the bow echo, on the bow bookend or whatever you want to call it, on the rotating northern end of that bow echo. I'm gonna turn on 4 panels so we can watch for rotation as well as correlation coefficient drop. See if it manages to touch down. Honestly, there's not a whole lot going on as far as rotation, to be honest. It did look better earlier. Where's our radar site? Our radar site is all the way over here. So we are still like many miles far away from our radar site. So it is kind of hard to tell. However, we do have winds that are moving away from our radar site. And we have winds that are moving towards our radar site in a counterclockwise fashion. So there's your rotation. It is honestly actually pretty decently tight, pretty strong, and we could definitely see a tornado come out of this. If you do live in the affected area, which does include Norcatter or Lebanon, Norcatter, Kansas, or Lebanon, Nebraska, please take shelter immediately. This is a dangerous situation. We could see a tornado drop any second from this. This is definitely a definitely very dangerous situation. And again, a tornado could definitely come out of this at any second. So if you do live in the affected area, please make sure you're taking shelter, taking the necessary precautions that are needed for this tornado warning. So, hold on, let me update the warning counts. And our slight risk, or our enhanced risk for our 10% tornado risk was downgraded, including our hail risk for some reason, which is kind of odd. I would wait for 00Z ERRR to come out, see what it says. It's right around the corner, actually. We could probably take a look at that after this tornado warning. Sorry, my eyes are extremely itchy because of bad allergies, so. Okay. Let me pull up chat here. Yeah, still nothing. Again, tornado warning in effect for Norcatter, Kansas, as well as Lebanon, Nebraska. If you live in the affected area, please take shelter immediately. If you want to wait on our new velocity scan, see what that entails. I don't know if we just got one or not. Only our reflectivity wants to move. Yeah, our rotation was honestly better before. Our spectrum width goes to show that as well. I'm genuinely surprised now that they just issued it, especially with how our rotation looks now is overall less prominent. Why did they not issue one further back here? That is my main question. So I do know by 10 p.m. they did not have that there. And then they wait until our rotation looks worse. Yeah, it's honestly kind of confusing, but it's still definitely concerning because we still have rotation, even if it is on more of a weakening trend, and we could still see a tornado come out of this. Especially with how our boat echo is kind of pushing out a little bit more, and we have a little bit more of a clearing here where we can get some warm air being pulled into that region, but it will definitely need to work hard. It's kind of hard for us to get tornadoes to develop on the northern end of bow echoes because inflow has to work all the way around to actually get in, and it also has to work past rain cooled air that's being ejected from the backside, and not ejected, but just left in place. There's an outflow boundary and a cold pool behind this bow echo. That makes it hard for inflow, but we could definitely see a tornado come out of this And we could see rotation potentially increase. Still no correlation coefficient drop that would indicate a tornado being on the ground. But we could still see a tornado come out of this. Kansas, please take shelter immediately. Same with Lebanon, Nebraska. Please get to shelter immediately. This is a dangerous situation. Tornado could definitely come out of this at any moment. Um, Honestly, kind of just waiting on this new velocity scan. Rotation is definitely more on a downtrend, and I'm still confused why they didn't issue a tornado warning earlier when our rotation was very prominent. Honestly, been noticing one too many cases where the NWS will take way too long to issue a tornado warning. That's kind of been sort of frequent in 2024 recently. It's definitely something that should probably be fixed, because there's definitely some concern that I have when it comes to that. But I'm waiting on the new velocity scan to see how it looks. Still nothing on correlation coefficient that would indicate a tornado on the ground. Just continue to see how this evolves. And there's not really much being indicated by our spectrum width as far as turbulent flow or anything. It's definitely an improvement compared to the SPC issuing tornado warning NWS issuing a tornado warning for just the RFD and completely missing the rotation. Like, I've seen that happen a lot recently too. It makes me wonder who is in the hot seat issuing tornado warnings sometimes, because I've seen one too many issues recently in 2024 where the NWS will issue a tornado warning for literally just the RFD and maybe half of the rotation. But honestly, they did a pretty good job. I just think that this tornado warning should have been a little bit earlier by a long shot. But this rotation is definitely still tornado warning worthy, or it's around that. It's definitely much weaker compared to what it was earlier, and there's still nothing that suggests a tornado on the ground just yet, but we could still see a tornado come out of this. If you do live in Norcatur or Lebanon, Nebraska, or Norcatur, Texas, or Kansas, sorry, please make sure you're getting to shelter and taking necessary precautions for this tornado warning. Again, this is a dangerous situation. This may need to be watched here. So we may be able to see a little bit of an RFD surge here, and that may in turn lead to inflow, but this is also right in the precipitation region. So it's inflow is going to have to work really hard to even try and fuel a tornado risk there. I'm honestly kind of on the fence about the SPC taking away our enhanced risk for our 10% tornado risk. They did remove our 10% tornado risk for this region. You can tell that there's no enhanced risk there anymore. Also, our tornado warning did just get expired. So I will switch back to our one panel. And the sun is beginning to set across this region. I am noticing this here though. This does have a tornado possible signature. I'm kind of wanting to watch this. if we were to get a strong RFD surge out of the west here, that could definitely in turn increase inflow and support increasing rotation there. It's definitely now not out of the question, but the sun is now sitting across this region, so we will have to watch our convective inhibition because yeah, now it's gonna get rocky for our storms and if they want to develop or not. Sorry, I'm just watching this. So the SPC or NWS, whoever issue, I'm pretty sure the SPC does the mesoscale discussions. Yeah, mesoscale discussion continues the tornado watch because we are expected to see the low level jet increase over the next couple of hours, and we could definitely see some storms fire off. It did indicate, or it did say that the cap does or has already broken across this region. And there is some cumulus that is some towering cumulus that has tried to develop into thunderstorms, which is kind of hard, kind of having a hard time here. Now that our tornado warning's gone, let's look at our 00Z HRRR, see how that entails our severe thunderstorm risk here. Okay, I do see where the NWS may, or the SPC. Sorry, it's kind of late for me. I would usually be going to bed around this time. I can see where the SPC may be removing that SIGTOR area, that 10% tornado risk, just because there's kind of too much uncertainty with that region. I definitely think that they maybe should have left it because there is still the possibility of tornadoes, even if it, and potentially strong tornadoes, even if it is more of a conditional risk. And they also did mention some cumulus towering and maybe some supercells that may want to fire along the dry line. And it doesn't indicate it on 00Z HRRR. I'll definitely watch this supercell. I'll probably watch this supercell while we look at our color tables. I'm going to get to our color tables again. I want to do the color table thing where I rank them and stuff. Okay, so they only let us have 3 color tables in total. I do have a file of reflectivity color tables actually. So what I'll do is I will remove all the color tables that we have on reflectivity except for Viper HD. Because I don't really want to lose that. I also have to notify one of my friends that I'm about to be messing with color tables because they have my password to Radar Omega, and I don't want them to be freaking out about color tables and stuff. So let me go notify them about that real quick. Okay, let's pull up WX tools here. Actually, no, let's not, because I already have a big old file with all my color tables in them that I just don't have on here. I don't have all of them on here because Radar Omega puts a limit on how many you can have, how many customs you can have. I will keep. Wait, will I? I don't know if I will. Let me find that file real quick. I don't want to accidentally be doing something that I don't want to do. Okay. Never mind. Be good. Unless I don't have the GR level 2 thing on here. I want to make sure I don't delete that. I still want to have that color table. Okay, so I guess Viper HD and GR2 full BR are going to be the ones that I guess I'll rank first. Yes, confirm. Oh, did I accidentally delete Viper HD? I think I did. I did not. I don't know. What? No, don't want to mess with velocity yet. Oh, it's a very tedious task. Okay, so what I'll do is I will rank them on how well they look in my opinion. This is my personal opinion. How well they look in my personal opinion, as well as how they portray hail, because that's also very important. I think Viper HD does portray hail in a very indicative and very good way here, with 55 dBz and higher indicating hail, and then 70, the deep 60s and the 70s indicating massive hail as it goes to black. It's really right up in your face and really simple to understand. So I definitely like Viper HD. Plus, it's just easy on your eyes. It's nothing too extreme, and it kind of fits all aesthetics, to be honest. Actually, no, it doesn't. There's some things that it doesn't fit into, but it's definitely a really good one. So I'll put Viper HD at S. And I don't know if the GR thing is on this website I'm using. If it is, then I'll put it on S as well, because honestly I like it really well. It's a simple color table. It's definitely more professional looking. It is definitely more professional looking, but it's also still not like extremely rough on the eyes. Oh. Okay. Hold on, I'm just checking something real quick. Okay. That's an area to be watched. Okay. This one's definitely an S tier one, but I can't find it on the website I'm using. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll just like add. What are these? Okay, I'll go to desktop. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's start off with this one. Actually, no, that's not one that I want to start off with. Can I cancel? I want to sort by date modified. Ascending, please. Or descending. What? Oh, never mind. Here we go. Okay. Here's the one I want to start off with. This one is Ben's base reflectivity. We'll pull this one up. We'll see how that looks, and I'll give my opinion. Oh, okay. This one is kind of all over the place. I don't know if it's really meant to be like used with smooth. Definitely think that this one may be more so used with unsmooth. It feels honestly kind of messy, but it's also like it's a certain color palette that needs more of an acquired taste. I also notice how there's like a weird thing in our color table right here where the gradient just decreases for some reason and then increases again. It actually does that multiple times throughout the color table for some reason. But as far as how it portrays hail, it starts at 50 dBz, where it begins to get pink. It actually starts at 49 dBz, and it causes the majority of your outflow core to just be extremely pink, regardless of if it's hail or not. I don't agree with the fact that 50 dBz indicates hail, because usually it doesn't. It's definitely more of an acquired taste for me, and an acquired taste that I don't have. So I will put this one in, let's see. Probably D tier, so not terrible, but I also don't really like it too well. I'll actually move it up to C. It's kind of mid. If I was forced to use it, I would use it, but it's like whatever. Alright, let's go on with the next one. So the next one on the list is Apex base reflectivity. I actually don't know if I have the file for this. Or Apox, I think. I don't know if I have it on here. No, I do have it on here. Apoc base reflectivity. Alright, let's see. I wish I would apply it whenever I uploaded it. Okay, this one's definitely a pretty good one. I like this, to be honest. It's definitely not S tier level, but it feels like an improved version of that classic, I think Reflectivity 3 it was, that's already in Radar Omega when you install it. That I kind of wanted to lighten up and use it as my primary. But this one's pretty good, honestly. It definitely has that more tropical feel that I like. And as far as the color table goes, rain kind of starts around 15 dBz with some light mist around 12 to 10. I definitely think that green should probably be extended down to 10 potentially. Then heavier rain starts around 30 dBz, but it's more of a gradual increase. Then hail starts around 60 dBz, even though some of the upper 50s can support hail, and then 75 dBz is when it turns blue for some massive hailstones, which is very rarely gone up to, even with massive hail. So I honestly don't like it too much. That's definitely bringing it down a couple of points. But I'll give it a B tier. What's the next one that we have? Viper HD, we've already gone over that. It's obviously an S for me. A 2004 lacrosse base reflectivity. That is the next one. I'll probably remove the name whenever I add it on there, so. Okay, so let's see how this one looks. Oh, this one is this. Okay. It's very bright. It is definitely really bright. It's definitely more professional. I don't know if I would really use it with a Radar Omega. It's definitely one of the more decent. It's definitely more decent, especially compared to APOC. I'd say it's better than APOC, the one that we looked at before this. But as far as the color table itself goes, rain is indicated to start at 20 dBz, which is kind of insane for me. Heavier rain starts at 30 dBz in the green, with some pretty heavy rainfall starting around 40 dBz. 50 dBz starts with red, is the sort of red, and then hail starts at 60 dBz, which is honestly okay. And 70 dBz. It's noticeably darker, but it isn't like too dark compared to our more smaller hail sizes. But I'd say this is a pretty decent one. Let's see how it compares to Viper HD though. I kind of want to see if I were to switch it over to Viper HD, what it may look like in comparison. It's kind of what I thought it would. It's definitely a little bit more lighter on the hail, but I definitely think this is one of the better color tables. I'd give this an A. And I will be releasing the color table, or not the color table, but the chart that I made, the funny chart, the ranking that I made for this. Yeah, I'd definitely give this an A. It's definitely not S, but it is A. Okay, now we have AWIPS 2 experimental. I already probably have a feeling how this is going to go. I doubt it's really going to be too good. The preview images. Okay, please can I just upload a color table? The starting image is already not looking too good. Oh, that was a mistake. Why did I do that? I'll do that. Okay. Oh, okay. This is definitely an acquired taste here. Rain is more of the lighter blue, with heavier rain starting at 35 dBz in the yellow, and 50 dBz starts the red, with hail starting at 65 dBz in pink. That's kind of goofy for me. This is definitely one of the worst, one of the not so good ones I've seen. You also did just get a severe thunderstorm warning. It was this, I'm pretty sure, for one inch hail and 60 mile/hour wind gusts. I am tracking the weather while we do this, though. I'm not completely tuned out. I haven't tuned out the weather completely. This one is definitely not very good. I have to give this an D. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not good in my opinion. So I have to give this a D. There are definitely a couple upcoming that are gonna get an F. I already know that much. Next one is AWIPS 2 official mod. It already looks like it's not going to be pretty good, so we'll just see what it looks like, I guess. Oh, okay. I can see why it's the official one and not experimental. It's definitely upfront and honest with you as far as the rain. It's darker, which isn't terribly bad in my opinion. I definitely do like a darker color table. But it's very upfront and honest with you. It's very blunt. Definitely don't think it's a material. I would have to give this a C based off of what I'm seeing so far. But rain starts around the 10Z, around 15Z. Heavier rain begins to turn to yellow around 30 to 40 dBz, or 35 to 40 dBz. Heavy rainfall is immediately shot up to 50 dBz in red, and black for 60 dBz, and then it increases to a very bright white for 61 dBz to indicate hail. I definitely don't think that indicating hail at 60 dBz isn't terrible. That's definitely more in line with what you would expect. I would like to see it extended down to our 50s or upper 50s, but I'm definitely not going to take off points because of that. 70 dBz for massive hail turns into purple, and then 75 turns into a bright blue. I definitely like how upfront and honest it is. It's definitely growing on me from the first second we saw it. Would I use it every day? Probably not. Would I use it at all? Probably not. I'll give it a B. Okay, so the next one is WFOOUN, which is actually, I'm pretty sure that one that I just described or said or whatever is not velocity. It's this. Nope, not that one. Pretty sure it's this one. You guys already know how I feel about it. The lack of... Oh, that's all kind of popped out of nowhere. Yeah, it had really big upscale growth over the last couple of hours. I definitely want to unsmooth this really quickly. Yeah, no, I thought our smoothing kind of made it look like a little occluded hook there, but it's not. We don't have any rotation. So it's not what I thought it was, but we'll watch that. But you guys already know how I feel about this. Hail begins to turn to pink, like up in the upper 60s, which is not not good in my opinion. Heavier rain starts at, okay, light rain in green starts at 20 dBz. Heavier rain at 40 to 30. And 50 dBz is a orangish red. I definitely like how it is more of a gradient, but it is definitely more darker. And our hail is just atrocious. I would have to give this a C. This is definitely not one of the better. Actually, no, to be honest. Actually, well, I like the more tropical feel. It's going to stay at C. I can't believe I'm pronouncing it as say now. It has really been a long night already. Let's see the next one. The next one is AWIP's Neon 2015. So it's this one. Okay, I'm curious what the day 2 outlook looks like. Or not our day 2. Never mind. What am I talking about? Our day 1 is what I'm thinking of. Never mind. Don't worry about what I was saying. Okay, so this is this one. This one is definitely very bright. It's very upfront and honest with you. It's definitely more of a darker color table, which I like, but it's also more neon, as the name suggests. So, honestly, not terribly bad. It's kind of growing on me. Heavier rain starts, or light to heavy rain starts at 23 dBz in green for some reason. But I guess the blue also indicates some lighter rain. 40 dBz turns to yellow immediately, and 50 dBz immediately turns into a neon green, neon red, and then turns to black at 60 dBz, or a very deep maroon, and then shoots up to 60 dBz with a very bright white. And then 75 dBz is a very bright blue, and 70 dBz is a very bright purple. So it is definitely neon, as the name suggests. So I definitely like this more. It keeps its darker tint while also trying to portray it as neon. It's definitely not terrible. And I like how 60 dBz begins to become hail. But I definitely don't like it that much. I'm kind of wanting to put it around a B or an A or a B. Because it starts the lighter or the heavier rain at green at 20 dBz, which is good, and 40 dBz is accurate at yellow, I'll keep it an A. It's definitely one of the better ones, I think, and I definitely could get by with it. Oh man. Okay, the HRRR just went absolutely ballistic for tomorrow. On our 00Z, may have to go look at that real quick, because that is kind of concerning. I do want to go over and explain that. Let's look at our 00Z. Oh, we still have our Viper HD on models. Okay, so we are expected to see our storms clear out and kind of going to be in a messy area of rain showers, but we will have at least a little bit of time for the atmosphere to recover. I don't really think cloud cover is going to be too much of an issue with what the HRRR is showing. Also, actually going to pull up Pivotal Weather real quick so I can look at cloud cover, because I am kind of curious about that, see how that impacts our risk. But man, did it go ballistic. Okay, so we have a clearing across this region, and that will allow for atmosphere recovery even after rain showers, and potentially even an uptick in our instability. Oh, and our 00Z is actually fully out on Pivotal Weather, so I'll go over that in the background. But you can tell just by our composite reflectivity that this could be a big outbreak. I don't think they'll issue moderate risk just yet, because this is just one model, but we'll look at the other models as well. But we have multiple discrete supercells that fire up along the dry line here across eastern Kansas. Multiple discrete supercells, which will be very supportive of the potential for tornadoes in a very, very prime environment. As far as our upper level pattern goes, we have a really powerful shortwave here. With 200 millibar flow ahead of our storms, actually. Upwards of 80 miles per hour. 84 miles per hour with a low level jet that could potentially get upwards of a good old 55 to 40. It does look like by the time our storms actually do develop, they may be in a environment that has the low level jet leaving this area, so that may be a little bit more of a concern. But we can also look at our 700 millibars. Yeah, this is a little bit more widespread and still pretty strong. But as far as our storm relative felicity goes, we definitely are lacking a little bit here as far as storm relative felicity. But for some reason, we have a crazy uptick in storm relative felicity after our storms develop for some reason. Definitely have a lot of moisture too, with dew points that could get upwards of the upper 60s and the low 70s, as well as temperatures upwards of the 80s and 70s across this region. To be supportive of most unstable Cape. Oh, that's gonna be absolutely insane. Upwards of 3,000 and maybe even approaching 4,000 joules per kilogram of instability along the dry line there. With surface-based Cape, that's going to translate down from our most unstable. So we will have surface-based storms if we can get these going. We also have a very strong pool of 0 to 3 kilometer instability that could just turn this region into a tornado factory. And our energy helicity index values are really crazy, really crazy. Upwards of 5, 4, maybe even 6 or 7. 6. Very supportive of the potential for tornadoes across this region. And then for our sector, that's ballistic. Upwards of like 3. Definitely not high risk worthy. Definitely far from high risk worthy. But still very concerning and still clearly indicating a tornado risk, and that will likely be greater, especially with that more discrete mode I was talking about along the dry line there. And our cap's going to be fully eroded. There's not really going to be much in the convective inhibition in the warm sector to really stop it from developing. Doesn't look like we may have more of a short window for storms to develop. So I do think it may be possible, if this continues to trend in some other models, which we'll look at, that we may be able to get a 10% tornado risk that may extend across this region, because we just have such a short window. We may not even get one at all, because there may be a little bit too much uncertainty, especially with how short that window is. But this is definitely a very ballistic model, very ballistic model run, very supportive of multiple tornadoes, definitely strong ones as well. And sometimes my view is kind of a little bit more tainted because the radar omega color tables. Yeah, pivotal weather color tables, which I'm honestly more used to, really puts it in perspective. Absolutely ballistic model run there. Very supportive of strong tornadoes. Yeah, absolutely ballistic. I'm just looking at pivotal weather here. Does look like our storm relative felicity may need a little bit of work, because we may be in an environment that may be in some more lackluster instability, or lackluster low level jet as it kind of moves out of the region by the time storms develop. But still short window for potentially multiple strong tornadoes. Yeah, absolutely ballistic model run there. We can also see how it compares to the name 3 kilometers. See if that likes to develop more isolated cells along the dry line further down to the south. Well, I guess our 00Z run isn't fully out on name 3 kilometer yet, despite it already being 10 p.m. Neither is it on pivotal weather, which is kind of crazy to me. Still in massive anticipation for Saturday. Yeah, that does not trend with our name 3 kilometer 00Z run. So it does look like our NAM or our HRRR may be more of an outlier here. Oh, and then we're going to have a lot of morning convection for Saturday, which may be completely detrimental for our tornado risk on Saturday. But I'll watch model trends. Even after, it does look like it has some really rapid recovery. The atmosphere looks like it does have some really rapid recovery. Some very large, very strong amounts of instability. It's also going to have some more spotty cloud cover, which is going to be an issue as well. Definitely have a powerful low-level jet that will strengthen out of the south-southwest, though. I am looking at pivotal weather for this, by the way, because our 00Z run isn't fully out on Radar Omega for some reason. But yeah, it's going to probably be very detrimental to our environment, but it does look like it may have some really rapid recovery, it looks like. At least from what it appears to be so far. Our coverage of our storms definitely may be a little bit more on the limited side, though. It doesn't introduce a cap, though, which is good. And it's still on the uptrend, or not uptrend, but uptick as far as atmospheric recovery. It's definitely a little bit more atmospheric recovery than what some other models have been outputting. We'll definitely watch it. I think we'll have more answers tomorrow. We're kind of just getting glimpses and glimpses of what may happen on Saturday. But so far, I wouldn't panic about Thursday or tomorrow, not Thursday, but tomorrow just yet, because that is only one model run that's wanting to do discrete mode along the dry line across eastern Kansas. So there's only one model. If it agrees, then we could definitely see an increased tornado risk. But definitely don't see it happening anytime soon, especially with the fact that we may have much more slimmer window for atmospheric recovery, as well as the fact that the low-level jet is probably going to be moving out of the region by the time storms actually develop. And then we're going to have a very short window before SIN actually increases convective inhibition. I don't know why everyone is freaking out about the 00Z run, to be honest. It definitely shows some really ballistic stuff as far as our composites, but there's more limiting factors like convective inhibition and the shorter window for atmospheric recovery. But it definitely has some really big potential to it, even with those more limiting factors. So we'll definitely watch it, but this is also one model run that's done that so far. Will it trend? Maybe. It's definitely a possibility that it could trend, but it's uncertain depending on how models will look tomorrow. And then I'm also concerned about Saturday as well. Saturday's kind of had my attention a little bit more. Our tornado watch actually expired further down to the south. I guess storms don't want to initiate. Even though it does look like they did try to at some point. I just didn't want to. I guess we can continue to do our color table thing. So we were on the neon. So that means ABC 3, I think 3340 or 340 max storm. Okay, I may not do this for too much longer because I do have to go to sleep tonight. I can't stay up. I have state testing tomorrow. I cannot stay up as long as you guys are probably hoping. Probably do maybe like one or two more color tables, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. And then maybe tomorrow, potentially, depending on our risk for severe thunderstorms, if it's too crazy, then we'll definitely be covering the weather. Um, if it doesn't really do much and we're certain about that, then we can work on our color tables. And then even if it doesn't do anything, then I may, or if it does do something and we have to postpone our stuff, I will probably find a designated date where I can live stream just us going through color tables and ranking them. That'll probably be the dedicated live stream. So let's do our ABC. I think, yeah, this is ABC 3340. Max Storm. Okay, this is this one. This is the one that I said feels more like the public radar. And it does go up in increments of 10, which is honestly better than just having our hail start at like 2, or not 2 dBz, at like 70 dBz. Hail starts at 55 dBz, but it's not like a bright pink like Viper HD. It's a deeper pink, so it's kind of more heavy rainfall, maybe some hail. And heavier rain starts around 15 dBz and 20 dBz, but it goes up in increments of, I think, by 5. This is definitely one of the better color tables. I don't really think I would use this because I don't really like the green backdrop, even though that's kind of what Viper HD has. Actually, no, it doesn't. It has the blue backdrop around the green. Definitely wouldn't see myself using this frequently. It's definitely one of the better color tables, though, so it's definitely has its potential. But I would definitely give this color table more of a B. Don't like it too much to give it an A, but it's definitely decent. I'd give it a B. Our next one is GR3 version 2. Oh, okay. GR level 3 version 2. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Oh, this one is definitely really right up in your face. This isn't like anything that I would really use on a frequent basis. It's definitely one of the more interesting ones. Heavier rain, or at least light rain, starts around the low 20s, with green starting at 25, which isn't the best. And then for some reason it goes to a darker green, and then it immediately goes to a lighter but darker green. Actually, no, it goes down to black for 35 dBz, and then increases again for 36 dBz to a dark but lighter green. Still a dark green, but it's not black, if that makes sense. And then at 40 dBz, we get our yellow, but it's a gradual increase. 50 dBz. Yellow goes from black to red for 50 dBz, and then from 55 dBz to a very deep maroon to start our hail. But our pink spikes at around 60 dBz, has a really weird region where it just decreases to black for some reason for 62 dBz, then turns to purple, and then turns into a weird lavender color at 67 dBz, and then a very bright blue, very neon blue for 70 dBz. 75 dBz becomes a like a baby blue kind of, and then 80 dBz and higher is just like that more brighter dBz, but it's constant. This one has too many inconsistencies. It's like it's trying to be a gradient, but also have like the black uptick each time it reaches another increment of 10. This one is definitely not good at all. It's definitely a worse color table. That actually gets up to 70 dBz there. Yeah, this is gonna have to get an F. This is gonna have to be our first F. Sorry, but just no, this is disgusting. Alright, well, that was our final color table that I'm going to go over tonight, with our risk for severe thunderstorms kind of dying off and the SBC decreasing our risk for tornadoes for today from a 10% to a 5%. And the fact that I have state testing tomorrow doesn't mix well with me staying up late, so switch to Viper HD really quickly. We definitely have some supercells that could produce the potential for tornadoes. That risk is potentially more on the downtrend now because the sun has officially set across this region, and more convective inhibition is slowly being introduced even while the low-level jet increases. It's kind of more mistimed. So that's going to be very detrimental for our tornado risk and likely will not support strong tornadoes. So that's your update for tonight, for the rest of the night. I'm going to get off now because I'm tired. I want to go to sleep, to be honest. It was fun having y'all, but I'm going to get off for tonight. So I want to thank y'all for tuning in. If you guys have any final questions, I'll give you like 3 minutes to ask them, but that's all you get. If you have any questions, please ask them. You guys got 3 minutes to ask any questions, as long as they pertain to weather, aren't weird, and are good questions. Any question is a good question. No questions are stupid as long as you're not goofing off. As long as you're mature about it is what I probably should say. But if you guys have any questions, I'll give you till 10:27 EST. So if you're in the Central Plains, that may be 9:27. More on the West Coast, more far Western United States, that's around 8:27 p.m. and 7:27 p.m. for California, I think. Sun's about to rise again in Czech Republic, Germany. It's actually more already on the rise. Sun's already risen on Moscow. I literally watched the sunset on Moscow earlier today as I was fooling around with the daytime layers. But you guys have 2 more minutes. Ask questions pertaining to the weather, please. Don't mind me zooming in on Pyongyang here. I'm kind of bored. No way they have traffic maps. No, those are probably just interstates. So I'll say there's no way they have traffic maps for North Korea. have like probably less than 1 minute to ask any questions pertaining to the weather. Then I'm gonna get off. Better ask fast. All right. Well, it's 10:27 now EST. I'm going to end the live. Sorry, end the live stream. Thank y'all for tuning in. Those of you that did. And hopefully, maybe I'll see you guys on the color table live stream. Maybe next week, maybe the week after that. I don't know. But I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a good night. Oh, and we gotta save your thunderstorm warning right as I'm about to end the stream. Okay, bye.